Hi, this is Greg Hughes from Cloudwire. I'd like to show you how to install WordPress using Cloudwire's Softaculous installation program, which you'll find in your cPanel. If you scroll down to the bottom of your cPanel, you'll see something that says Softaculous Apps Installer. Softaculous is a great program that allows you to integrate any of hundreds of web apps into your website. The most popular one being WordPress. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to install a WordPress framework onto this web hosting account. You should know that this is a new, fresh, empty web hosting account. It's got no website on it, no files. And so we're going to use WordPress to create a website with it. To do that, obviously, we click the WordPress button. And it takes us to a starting screen, which simply tells us, do you have enough space? Well, with Cloudwire, you have unlimited space, so it's really not an issue. This tells us how much is required, but we have an unlimited amount because we're in Cloudwire. So we're going to click Install Now and get started. It's going to tell you the version of WordPress that's going to be installed, and you can keep that because even if there's a newer version of WordPress, it's really easy to update WordPress in your dashboard later. So just go ahead and let it install the default. This is important though. You want to choose the right protocol. Since we're hosting with Cloudwire, we're using SSL. SSL is a secured socket layer, and since our domain is secure, we want to use that HTTPS. If you weren't using that, you'd choose something else. But since we have free SSL with our Cloudwire account, we want to make sure we're using the secured protocol for our URL. This is the domain it's going to be installed on. And then if we wanted to put WordPress into its own directory, we would put that here. And it defaults to WP, as in WordPress. The problem with this is I don't want my WordPress site to be in a directory. If I left this alone, then to get to this WordPress website, you'd have to go to 247webtalk.com/WP. I don't want that. I want it to be on the root. In other words, I want people to see the website at 247webtalk.com. So I'm going to empty the directory field, and that will put the website at the root. We can also put in the site name here and a description. We don't have to do that now. We can do that later in WordPress. You can do that now if you want to. It's easy to change. This, however, is very important. WordPress always starts you off with a username called admin. And the problem is every WordPress website in the world starts off that way. And unless you change this to something else, you increase the possibility of someone trying to hack into your account. People who try to break into WordPress websites always try admin as the username because a lot of people don't change that. And so it's important for security reasons to do that. Using admin as a username is kind of like using password as a password. You don't want to do that. Use anything else, even if it's just your first name. I'll do that for now in this demo. And then of course we want to use a password that is better than pass or password. It needs to be strong. Fortunately, we have a little meter here to help us. So let's hide that and let's type in a new password. And you can see I made one that's strong, and you want it to be. You want to get in the green, so to speak, so that your WordPress installation is secure. This is a very, very important step. One of the problems that WordPress has had over the years is it's notorious for being hacked into, and that's because people do this wrong. You need to make sure you pick a username that is unusual or is not admin, and more importantly, a password that's very strong. Next, you want to choose an email associated with this, and again, this can be changed later. But for now, you want to put in an email address that actually exists. I didn't actually create an email account for admin at 247webtalk, so I'm going to put one in here that I did create because it needs to be a working email address. Next, we can select our language. These plugins will leave blank because I have other plugins I want to install, and these are optional. Probably don't need the advanced options. If you do know how to use these, you probably aren't watching this video because this is pretty basic stuff, but you can leave most of this blank. The next thing you want to do is you can select the theme if you want to. The themes that are shipped with Softaculous are great, but in most cases you're probably going to select another theme. There are thousands, if not millions, of WordPress themes out there, most of them free, and I have my own themes I want to work with. But if you want to start with one, you can, and there are several to choose from. So you can look at what's available and even scroll through them until you find one that you like. I'm just going to pick anything for now because I'm actually going to change the theme later. So it doesn't really matter what you start with. Themes are easy to change. Find one that you like, click select. Now, we're going to click the install button, but let's just review before we do. All we've done is we've made sure our protocol is correct. we want to make sure we install the WordPress framework in the right spot. We can name it later. Username and password, very important. And then we'll start off with whatever theme we want to start off with. Next, we'll click Install. If we've made any mistakes, it would tell us. In this case, we haven't, so it started the installation process, and it's counting it down. When this installation process is done in the next 3 or 4 minutes, it will give us some information on where to go to log in to our WordPress account. And here it is. So it tells us that we've successfully installed it at 24/7 Web Talk. And to log in, we go to this URL. This is the universal address for all WordPress logins. It's yourdomain.com/WPadmin. And to get in, of course, I would need to know my username and password. Now, since we're already in cPanel, it's probably going to just take us right inside to the dashboard and not require us to log in the first time. But if it does, it's important to know your username and password. So let's click on that and see what happens. As you can see, we went right in. We didn't have to log in. But if we log out and then try to log in again, we'll need to know that username and password. So here we are with just a fresh WordPress installation. That was pretty easy to do. From here, you can change themes, add your content, and do everything else you'd normally do with a WordPress website. Let's just for fun take a look at the website and see what it looks like. We can go up here and click Visit Site, and there's our website. That's the theme that we chose, and it's ready for content or for any kind of editing. This black bar up here only shows because I'm logged in as the admin. That's not something the public sees. That's just WordPress's way of helping the admin get around. So I can go back to the dashboard and start working behind the scenes with my WordPress website. And it's ready to go. Easy to install using Softaculous in the cPanel in your Cloudwire hosting account.